Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to share with you what's going on, what I've been working on recently. I've been working on something quite exciting. I recently came across this video by, you might have come across him, by Data with Baraa. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, where he just mapped out like a data engineering roadmap for anyone trying to break into or transition into data engineering. And recently, I've been getting curious about the field. A little background about me. I come from a data analysis background. I started learning data analysis. I started learning data analytics, like let's say 2 years back, and I've just been fascinated about the field. Everything data, and I've explored uh, a few aspects of data analytics. I've explored like a couple of tech stacks like SQL, Python, Power BI, just the gist. And now I've been getting curious about data engineering and I'm trying to like transition into it to explore what it's all about because I've been realizing that uh, with the rise of AI, AI is kind of like making the analysis process much more easier. I'm not sure if you data analysts relate. And normally, in a lot of cases, that I found that I mostly found that AI just speed runs and streamlines the entire analysis process. So, which is why I want to like challenge myself more, by exploring what goes on into behind the scenes, who builds the data pipelines. So with the rise of AI, I feel like we have to like wear multiple hats in the field of tech. And it also applies to like data. I feel like with AI streamlining the analysis process, we need to be able to wear like many hats. We might be taking on like more responsibilities. You might find like a data analyst will also be part of the team that works on the data pipelines. So it doesn't hurt to like challenge yourself a little bit more, to make yourself irreplaceable. And that's exactly what I'm doing here on this journey. So, and the roadmap I'm going to be following, like I mentioned, is this roadmap by Data with Baraa. And Baraa is like a, pretty known, data developer in the industry. And the reason why I'm following this roadmap is just it's simple, you know. Normally, if you're trying to break into a new field or transition into a new field, you're not going to know where to start from. What tech stacks are you going to learn? What skills matter the most? So, and the cool thing about this roadmap is that he managed to break it down fully. You know, he mentioned the core skills, the journey that you're going to want to like follow. That will be mastering the core skills. He also broke down how you can get hired, level up, and level up. And also, even when I had to like break it down even further by listing out all the core skills that you need, which is SQL, Python, Spark. I'm not very familiar with most of this. I'm familiar with SQL, but for analysis, and I'm also familiar with like a little bit of Python, the pandas and NumPy library. Not much, but at least I have an idea. But all of these other tools, I'm not very familiar. So the purpose of this video is that I'm just going to be sharing my journey, sharing everything that I learn as I master like all these concepts. And the reason I'm doing this is one, to keep myself accountable, because if I don't do this, normally I'm not going to get like motivated. So at least if I know that I'm going to like record a video about this, I'll definitely have something to keep me accountable. Also, I just wanted to like help someone that's, you know, also trying to break in. So by creating these videos, I feel like it's going to help someone else on the same journey that I am. If you want to like follow my journey, or if perhaps I end up going across all this journey and I have like some resources to go back to, that someone else can always go back to, someone else going through the journey. So that's mostly why I'm doing this. And yeah, let's, if I keep breaking things down to keep looking through this roadmap, you can see it's pretty interactive. I adjusted this to like done because while I think I might have to change it to in progress because I know some SQL, but mostly for analysis. I know like some basic to intermediate functions, but I'm not really familiar with the SQL for data engineering. When I click into this, actually, I think this is how it works. So when I click into this, you can see here that it went ahead to like break things down by listing the tools that you're going to. You mentioned that I can just pick one and start writing SQL, but in my case, I'm familiar with SQL Server, so that's what I'm going to use. So, and he also recommended that you pick SQL Server because it's beginner friendly and also aligned with cloud platforms like this. Not really familiar with this, but I guess we're going to figure it out. But if you're also interested in like open source solutions, you can go with PostgreSQL. So here are the most learned skills that he recommended. Queries, I'm already familiar with all of this, so I'm gonna take it. Joins, I'm also familiar with joins. But these two, I have some idea, but I wouldn't say I'm that good at it yet. I might need some practice. But yeah, he also recommended all these skills also. So yeah, I guess we're moving forward. And here are some resources that he recommended. You can go through his videos. I feel like he's a pretty good creator in the data ecosystem. So it's worth checking him out. So and yeah, so we also linked down some docs that you can also look through and some paid course also if you want. So if I go through the Python, to look through the must learn skills. Actually, I don't know why I take this. I'm not really familiar, honestly, just to be honest. I'm just gonna untick this. So I'm familiar with variables and data types, and I'm a little bit familiar with data structures because before you learn pandas, you're gonna want to be familiar with all of these things, because that's mostly what pandas entails, data structures. So I might say I'm familiar, just a little bit familiar. Functions, not really, because I didn't really have to use functions in my code a lot of times. Working with files, I'm definitely not familiar with this, so I might have to look through it. So he also linked to like some resources that you can check out also. So let's check out this. I might not be able to check out all of this. So if you want to get access to the roadmap, I'll just go ahead and link it down below. So if you want to follow along my journey. And now this is Spark. I'm not really familiar with this, but I guess it's like a big data processing engine. And in data engineering, PySpark is your way to use Spark. So I guess we're going to figure this out on the go, I guess. Not really familiar. So here are some must learn skills that he recommends also. And he also linked to some resources that you can go to. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop here. I don't want to make this video too long. So that's just pretty much it. First, I'm just going to focus on learning these core skills, I guess. That I'll start with SQL, then I'll transition to Python. Then until I build this project. So I guess what he's saying here is that if you manage to master all of this, you have like a strong chance of getting hired. Let me just close this first. So you have like a strong chance of getting hired, like your first data engineering job, right? So before you start like leveling up and becoming much more advanced, right? So what matters is to master all these foundational skills first. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do together on this journey. So yeah, that's pretty much what the roadmap is all about. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm excited to start this journey. I'm gonna try to be uploading weekly, just to, because if I don't, I might lose motivation, because one thing I struggle with is shiny object syndrome. I usually like jump from field to field. So I'm trying not to do that for this. I'm trying to like lean into this, at least learn it to a point before I get inspired by something else. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, cheers.